It is Walker Wednesday on a Monday. It's like having Spaghetti Tuesday on a Wednesday. Man, I am so jacked up right now. Hit the button. Let's get started. Hey there, hi there, ho there, Andrew here, the horror host of Generations X, Y, and Z inside Davis Manor, where we find humor in horror. And if you are new to the channel, have no idea what I'm doing here, besides it being Walker Wednesday, let me fill you in real quick. I do reviews of TV shows and movies, mostly horror. I talk about my time in the haunt industry, me working it, and I do some Let's Plays, occasional vlogs about my life. If you're interested in something like that, please consider going ahead and hitting the subscribe button, and then also hitting the like, comment, and share button as well. And before I get into this, we are talking about episode 2 of season 9. Okay, I'm just going to recap that. I'm going to talk about the reactions. We're going to do episode 3, hopefully then Wednesday, episode 4 on Friday, and we will have totally caught up. I'm having Walker Wednesdays on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because I have fallen a little bit behind. But before I begin, a big shout out to the patrons of the channel. If you'd like to get exclusive content, be rewarded with merchandise, or even have a vote in future projects that I'm doing in the future, like making the next slasher villain and maybe making a web series out of that, or a how-to quick start chainsaw tutorial, or even a future series on how to be a scare actor. If you want to see that, then think about becoming a patron by pledging. And to find out more, click the link above or at the end of the video or in the description box below. So starting into this episode, after a time jump of 1.5 years between season 8 and 9, we are jumping once again 1 month from episode 1 to 2. Why? Because things are moving so slow in this show that they are forced to push it even further. At this rate, I think Rick Grimes is going to die at the hands of Jason Voorhees when he gets into space in Jason X. As we continue the beginning of the show, Rick starts to monologue, and man, I am going to miss that, as he describes what type of progress has been made since the all-out war season. We don't know who he's talking to for dramatical purposes, but we do because we've seen the trailer and we know it's Negan. I was going to go recap episode 2 and 3 together at the same time, but there's just a lot of post-production when I do these type of things, so I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to give you all of the big highlights that happened in this episode. And when I talk about highlights, I really mean, who's hooking up with who? Obviously, Rick and Michonne are still a thing, but we see things like Laura and a rat. A rat? A rot? Who names their kid a rat? Anyways, they're sharing a beverage, which I don't know is a subtle take at them being a couple, but the less subtle is Nabila? Who makes up these names? And Jerry are kissing as Jerry goes off to work. Then you've got the poster family for the apocalypse, King Ezekiel, Carol, and, Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry. If Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry wasn't already jacked up on this show, having those two raise him, gonna push him over the edge, if he's not already over the edge. I mean, can you imagine fancy talk Ezekiel here going on to Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry, and then you got, did you do your homework? Because if you didn't, I'm going to tie you to the tree and the monsters are going to eat you. Mom. Yeah, Carol has a mom. That might be bad. I mean, hey, it worked for Sophia, right? So the kid is screwed up in more ways than I can count to begin with. Adding them to, and I'm okay with that, actually, that I think about it, because it's really good to see that poorly written twerp suffer. Eugene is here for an exposition dump. Thanks a lot, Eugene. I appreciate that. He's telling Rick that the former saviors are disappearing from the camp. Could it be the Whispers? Yes? No? Maybe? Well, the answer's in the next episode, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves. And to help further character development, we see that Sadiq, the local doctor, has taken Enid as his second in charge. Enid, a doctor? What? Actually, that gives me hope. You know why? Because doctors don't last that long on this show, and that means that Enid, if she becomes a doctor, she's gonna die soon. So at either rate, Rick takes Sadiq over to Alexandria because there's some kind of bug going on, and Enid is on her own. Michonne talks to Maggie at Hilltop, and this is where we find out that it's been a month since they hung Gregory, and people need food at the Hilltop, and Hilltop needs gas for the tractor to plow their goods. Too bad Hilltop doesn't have a plow that can be hooked up to a horse instead. Oh, but they do. It needs to be repaired so it can work, though. Too bad Hilltop doesn't have a blacksmith to repair it. Oh! But they do. he's sitting in a jail cell. Good thing Maggie isn't putting her own needs over the people's lives. Oh, but she is. And glad to hear that people are starving and she can't get over the power trip she has as the leader of the Hilltop. Classic Maggie personality, not an awkward shift in character development or the story arc at all. Not at all. Man, do I not like this character. So let's get to the bridge, since that's the title of the second episode. The bridge is mostly being built by former saviors, as they can provide the labor and not much else. And then Portrait of a Serial Killer, Henry, is the water boy. And Savior Justin gets less than a half a glass of water, so Justin wants more. But Henry is trying to ration. And Justin pushes Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry and takes the container to drink. Then this happens. Seriously, what's with all the fake drama about water? They're building a bridge over water. Get the water, boil the water, drink the water. How hard is that? Then Daryl goes and picks a fight with Justin, and Rick has to go and break it up, and that gets Daryl all upset because he's moody. But this is all to build up the character Justin a bit, you know, because The Walking Dead likes to build up new characters so they can kill them off and we don't care. But hey, I'm getting ahead of myself. The rest of the show is minor developments. We get some of Maggie's reasonings of why Gregory was killed, and that was because he squandered his second chances, because, you know, that's Maggie's decision to make. And Savior Justin is still more of a jerk throughout the episode. And of course we get the actor formerly known as Jadis, who starts a relationship with Father Gabriel. Let's not forget Alden, the savior with the heart of gold. He is now the moral center of the show, and that makes him going to die soon. At least I hope that he dies soon. If you're the moral center of the show, you're going to die soon. I like those chances. He's like Glenn Light. And the only action that's happening on this show is a herd of walkers show up during a log piling session. And yeah, this season is becoming a pile of logs if you catch my drift. And during the attack, we find out that Justin was slacking on his duties. You like how I slid in a duty joke in the middle of a log pile joke? And yeah, that's just enough crappy jokes for right now. So Aaron gets his arm caught underneath a log, which mangles up his arm pretty bad. Too bad there isn't a doctor in the house. Oh, but there is. It's Enid, and she says, we've got to amputate. Seriously, Enid, that is not how you disarm somebody. Maggie changes her mind about having Earl work the plow, being reminded that her father, Herschel, was a recovering alcoholic, much like Earl. So I'm again glad that she can separate her own personal feelings and history when it comes about making informed decisions. When Maggie leaves this show, I'm going to have some cake to celebrate. Anyways, Rick goes ahead and kicks Justin out of the community for slacking on the job. One would think that this was Carol's job because Carol oversees the sanctuary, not Rick. But hey, what do I know? And speaking of Carol, Carol accepts Ezekiel's ring, who he's been trying to give to her at least for a month because that happened in last episode and there was a time jump. But he could have been doing it for the last year and a half. We don't know. There's so many time jumps that are going on. So that means that Carol's going to be queen? I don't know. Oh my gosh, that means Henry's going to be a prince. Oh, this show. Ugh. Anyways, Gabriel and the actor formerly known as Jadis start to listen to Frogs Mate, right? And that inspires Gabriel to hop to it before they croak of old age. Seriously, I actually would have enjoyed that scene if there was jokes like that in there, but they totally missed the opportunity. We get back to the scene that we saw in the beginning of the episode, which was Rick talking to Negan, and Negan tells Rick that Rick isn't saving the world, he's just getting it ready for Negan. And I sure hope that means that Negan becomes the new frontman of the show, because something's got to change. This show needs an enema. Then there's a final shot of Savior Justin getting jumped at the end, but we will talk more about that in the next episode. And the question of the day is, do you think that Negan, since we were just talking about Negan, will once again become charge of a community and or lead the entire show? Leave a comment down below. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on that. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that red subscribe button. Make sure that you also do not miss out on any of the awesome content that I put up. Awesome because I guess I'm a little bit biased. But become part of the notification squad by hitting that bell icon so you get notified the moment that I upload. And I will see you in the next video.